Hi, I'm Patty.
I'm Kim Michelle.
And I'm Jill. Welcome to our podcast. It's a great day to talk.
Because honestly, what day isn't a great day to talk?
So join us in our conversation.
A Great Day to Talk is brought to you by St. George Design, offering complete website design, social media management, search engine optimization, Google and Facebook ad management, and many other digital and print marketing services. stgeorgedesign.com. And by Richardson Brothers Custom Homes, third-generation builders who have been building custom homes in southern Utah for over 25 years. They will take your dream home from concept to completion. Contact richardsonbrothers.com.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to It's a Great Day to Talk. I'm Kim Michelle, and this is my great friend, Patty.
Hello, welcome to our conversation.
And this is my great friend, Jill.
Wait.
Oh, yeah. Jill's not with us today. She's still our great friend, but she is not with us today. She's traveling, for those of you who maybe missed us last week. So she is in one of her most loved places of all, which is in Maine. And I don't know if this century has not gotten there yet, maybe.
I think they are a little bit behind on the internet because she does not have service where she's at.
She has very sketch service. And so we could try to get her in, but would be this, and that would be frustrating for you. So we decided, as much as we love her, that she would just enjoy her day today, however she chose to do that, which is what we would want for her. And we would carry the show today. So I'm sure it's going to be amazing, and we will miss her, and then we'll take advantage of her when she's here, and we won't be here.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So today we wanted to start with talking about our Read It Now, Talk Later book, which we introduced last week, which is the Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. So we introduced it last week at the very end of our show, and we really said, what else do you need to know, except that it is by Kim Michelle Richardson.
Right. So it's a combination book of myself and Kim Michelle.
We wrote it together. No, we didn't.
It just is the only reason we picked the book is because our names were involved.
Yeah.
Also,
no, that's not true either.
That's not why.
So clearly, Patty and I are liars. There are other reasons why we chose it. And so if you haven't started the book, or even if you have, we just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of background about what you're going to have the opportunity to read about in this book, and a little bit of a reason why we chose it. And then hopefully you'll jump in and enjoy it and read it, and then we will talk about it the last week of this month. So I'm going to start and just give a little bit of background around how the story originated and some of the information leading up to the story. And Patty and I are going to talk about this a little bit, and then we'll go into a different topic for the rest of the show. So the story itself deals with the pack horse librarians, which is a very real, the story itself is fictionalized, and it focuses on two of these librarians, these pack horse librarians. However, there really were pack horse librarians that took books clear up into the Appalachian Mountains. And there might have been other ones as well, but these were the most famous ones,
right,
were up in the Appalachians.
Well, according to what I researched, there were this pack horse librarian squad, that gave about 200 people jobs, and it brought books to over 100,000 people.
Yeah, and they're into very poor communities and hard to reach communities. I mean,
in Kentucky.
Yeah. When you read the book, you'll see how difficult some of these pathways, and I was going to say roads, but they weren't roads. They used horses to get themselves up into these homes that were scattered. And homes, to some extent, is even a liberal use of the word when you hear the description of some of the places which people were living in at that time, because it was serving the poorest parts of the communities up there in the Appalachians. And these were women on horseback, going alone up through the mountains every season. Winter, snow, snowy, blizzard, the heat of summer, it didn't matter. On their horses, traveling alone to deliver reading material to poor segments of the population who didn't have access to any other kinds of reading material. And even though a lot of them might have even had textbooks, there was an undercurrent of mistrust associated with the government. And so a lot of them did not want to access like textbooks and things like that because they didn't trust the government. And so there was very limited access to materials.
Right. Well, and a lot of the librarians read to some of the people because a lot of the people were illiterate as well.
Yeah.
Just because of their lack of access.
Right. Because if you think about it, if it takes a horse and it could take you half a day to get to one little house, then if you're thinking about, well, where would these kids come together to go to school?
Right.
How would that happen? So a lot of them didn't have access to schools. And maybe that's one of the reasons why it spoke to us so much, because we all come from an education background.
Right.
And so strongly believe in the importance of school and access to education and access to the written word as well as the spoken word. So maybe that's one of the reasons why it also spoke to us so passionately. And it basically, this time period is during the Great Depression, or just coming out of the Great Depression. So it was really, they were most active between 1935 for about the next 8 years. That's when they were most active.
To 1943.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it also talks about a group of people with a rare disease or disorder that were considered the blue people of Kentucky.
That I'd never heard of before until I read this book.
And so, in fact, I just read that the last descendant of blue people was born in 1975, but their skin was blue because they lacked a certain... they had a deficiency that caused their blood to be brown and caused their skin to be blue. So their blood wasn't necessarily red. And, of course, the blue people were discriminated against and feared. And I think one of the librarians has the blue skin disorder.
Yes,
the blue
she
people.
does. The main one, Cussy Mary.
Yes.
Who is the main character in the book, and she's 19. They're called bluets. And she has the blue skin. And so there's quite a dichotomy there, because she is respected because she is
horse
librarian, which is generally respected. And yet at the same time, she's reviled because she's also a bluet. And so you've got this real dichotomy going on there. And even when she goes and she is like picking up her books, or she's trying to find reading material, the other librarians are all competing for the best reading material. And she is designated to a different part of the library to find her material because she's a bluet.
Right. So it does have some topics that I think are relevant today, as well as the historical fiction of what happened in the 1930s.
Yeah. So as the book takes place, like I said, Cussy Mary is, and that's not because she cusses a lot. I mean, it could be. I don't know.
Right.
But as far as we know, it's not because of that. But she's pretty, she's got a lot of spirit to her. And she's 19. Her mother has already passed. She's the only daughter to her father. Her father has worked in the mines, in the coal mines there, his entire life. And there's also another little subtext around, there's the beginning of unionization within the coal mines, and there's some politicization that's going on around that, and there's another storyline around that. But she's taking care of her father, who's clearly in his waning years, and is really concerned about what will happen to his daughter once he's passed. And so he's committed to finding her a spouse, even though she's fine. She's
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
Right. He turns the
Yeah.
light on. He leaves a candle on because that signifies that
Courting
courting.
can
Yeah. and
take place.
she's like, I'm
and-
fine.
Yeah, because she's very much, there's also great purpose work here. She really feels as if her purpose is to be the librarian in this way. And she's perfectly happy if that's what her life is to be. It's her dad who is concerned about
Her well-being.
her
Yeah.
well-being, who will
Yeah.
protect her, who will take care of her. And so he's committed to finding her a spouse, and that it's a powerful storyline around that part of the story. And I'm not going to give any of that part of it away, but it's really a powerful storyline that transpires around that as well.
Right.
So that's just a little tidbit.
Yeah, so we hope that maybe sparked your interest. And if you're interested in some historical fiction, like we are, and want to know a little bit more about the librarians,
Yeah.
the pack horse librarians, and even the blue people, the bluets.
Yeah, and
What
I
an
actually
interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And I think I think maybe I posted about it. I'm not exactly sure. And I put, I think I put the book women because they're all women.
Right,
They're all women that are doing this.
right. The pack horse librarians are
Yeah,
all women.
They
which
are.
seems
but
dangerous.
This book is about a specific woman, even though it talks about the woman. So just so you know, it is woman, WOMAN. So
Great.
yeah.
Well, good. I hope you will join us in our
Yeah.
conversation at the end of the month regarding this novel.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So today we wanted to talk about a topic that should resonate with everyone.
I hope it does.
Yeah. And I'm going to coin a term from my daughter. She said the other day, she said she was introducing some friends of hers, and she said, these people are my family. And I thought that was cute. So
Yeah.
family meaning friends who are family, because family isn't, there's not just one type of family anymore. We have lots of different types of families. Nothing seems to be necessary to be traditional anymore.
Absolutely.
So we wanted to talk about family, and the thing, family, or whatever
However you define it.
define your family, and whatever constitutes your family, and it doesn't even need to be blood related.
Yeah.
And things that bring us joy regarding that.
Yeah.
So I posted last week about camping, and
I loved this post too.
our campfire stories. And we had we like to go to Panguitch for the 4th of July, Panguitch Lake, and we always camp up in a remote area that's not in a campground, and we have gotten the same spot for the last few years. And there weren't a lot of campers this year. I was really
Really?
surprised. I thought there would have been more, but it wasn't very packed. And we usually go with the same families, but we went with our daughter and her husband and our son and his wife, and then a bunch of friends of our daughter and her husband's friends that we've known for a while. It was a lot of fun. But one of the things that I love about camping is the campfire and sitting around the campfire and either listening to songs, because there's several of us, not me, several people who play the guitar and sing, and we didn't get to have a campfire this year because of the drought and
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
fire danger.
Even within a pit?
even in a pit.
Oh,
Nope, nope.
wow.
So we had
Even in a Brad pit?
Brad Pitt's always, I think he's already on fire.
Oh, well, that's a good point.
So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Mhm.
I think
That's a
he's
good
already
point, Patty.
dangerous because he's
Yep.
fire. But anyway, we had just a little fake gas propane fire that had coals, and it was fine. But it's not the same. A couple years ago, we went to Otter Creek for the 4th of July because Panguitch was on fire itself. And we just had some sticks, and we tied some LED lights around the sticks and sat around it in Lake Powell.
That's so cute.
It'd be so hot in Lake Powell that you wouldn't want a fire. And so sometimes we would just sit in a circle and put a lantern in the middle. And it was just symbolic of we always have to have some sort of nighttime lit activity. And yeah, we tell stories that everyone's heard. This weekend we had new people, so I'm sure some of this old stories got told again because my husband loves to tell stories that have been told over and over. And
does he know they've been told, or does he think he's telling them for the first time?
I think he thinks he's talking to new people, and so telling the new people the story. But a lot of
they
those
play along?
Yeah, we all just go, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing!
Tell us more."
Yes, we love it. So even if we're hearing the same songs or the same stories, as long as there's like even a makeshift fire, that is just something that brings us joy. It's the minute we can sit around by the fire, it's like the day is done. We're all chilled. Most of the kids are in bed, and it's like adult time.
Yeah.
Around the fire. We love it.
And do you have a fire pit at your house, like in your backyard? Do you have a fire pit?
We not necessarily. It's not like a gas or a propane fire pit. We have an actual like fire pit that you put wood in and have to start a fire, an actual fire. And we definitely have had lots of fun around the fire. In the winter, we'll do a fire and just sit around just because we want to be outside and it's cold. But, you can have a fire, roast marshmallows, or just sit around the fire and play the guitars.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing. I don't play the guitars. My husband does. His brother does. My son-in-law does. Good friends of ours play the guitar. They all sing. Some originals, some not. And it's honestly something that brings me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And with my family and framily. My brother plays the guitar, my dad plays the guitar, and it's just our favorite thing. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah. When our kids were young, we always camped. I think it's one of the things we did right as a parent.
Oh, good.
It might be the thing. I don't know. I'm giving myself credit when I say it's one of the things because that assumes there's more than one. But I just think there's something about spending that time away from the hustle and bustle of everything else. And it's been a long time since I've been back out camping as an adult. Well, I was an adult then because I had kids.
I mean, as an other adult, the other adult part.
That was very kind. You were going to say old.
I was going to say
and then you caught yourself. I so appreciate that.
You're adult here, but then the other part of your adult life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My old adult. I'm okay.
Your
with
older
that.
adult life.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, the idea of camping now, it does not seem as appealing to me as it did when my kids were younger. So maybe I just get to reinvestigate what that could look like because maybe I've made it mean something in my head that it wouldn't. The voices in my head. Maybe I've made it mean something, right, that it doesn't have to mean, because then, honestly, it was really some of the best times we had with our younger kids to have that time away and really just share with each other. Really great, fond memories of fishing and the deer hunt with family and friends and all of that. So one of the things that we certainly love in our family is we love to cook. And so we do a lot of that with when we have the opportunity to have our kids over. And if they can bring their friends, that's great. So not all of our kids are here, live close enough to get down here and be with us, every week or something like that, which I would love that. And I totally appreciate that they're adults now and have their life. Or, so I'm told, I'm supposed to appreciate that now, that's what you're supposed to do as a parent is grow them so that they can go out and be their own adults somewhere out in the world. But I miss them.
Yes.
Just the same. But when they have the opportunity to be with us, I'm so blessed because I have the funniest kids in the entire world. So when we have the chance to be together, we're going to laugh. There's just no doubt about that. And so it always usually involves cooking of some kind. And I, in the past, have been the cook master. My husband recently got a smoker. And
Oh, yeah.
he has become a serious smoker. He's like,
like a chain
5 logs a
smoker.
day
Yeah.
smoker in terms of meat smoker.
Yes.
In our smoker, yeah. And so he has really taken that on. And so he loves to be trying new recipes and different kinds of meats. And so that's kind of become his domain now, is they come over, we're going to smoke something. Well, usually it's the other way around. They hear we're going to smoke something, and then
they come over.
Yeah, exactly.
If you cook it, they will come.
And then I do all the sides and all of that kind of stuff. And so we'll eat, and then we usually play games. We usually play cards or Jackbox, which if you've not played that with your adult kids, you should totally play that. Because Jackbox is a system you play on through your phones on your television.
Like
so it'll give you
Quiplash.
prompts.
Yeah.
So it'll give you prompts, and you answer on your phone, and you're kind of anonymous, so you have these names. But inevitably what happens is we'll have some kind of running jokes through the whole family.
Yeah.
And then you'll see those jokes coming up over and over and over again on the Jackbox, and it's hilarious.
It is.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't a mom that sat around and played games very well. I just couldn't sit still. I couldn't, now I can, but I couldn't sit really and watch a movie. I'd have to stop, switch the laundry, put it away,
Right.
do and so sitting down and watch a movie was hard when my kids were little. I can now, but sitting down to play a board game, that's why they're called board games. Like, I was so bored, and my kids don't do it either. They're like, I can't handle board games. And even puzzles, I tried to get a puzzle every Christmas to see if we can just sit around and do a puzzle, and we don't last very long. Luckily my daughter-in-law loves to do it, and she can last longer than the rest of us. But now the Quiplash is an easy way, or the Jackbox. We've done that, and it's fun. Now,
It's so fast. It's fast moving,
I can do that.
Between games, you can still run and put a load of laundry in if that's really what your heart desires. So
I've let a lot of things go that were really important to me early on, and they're not as important now. But
that really, we can all find things that we know are joyful as a family or however you want to define it, that are big things, right? Like if you're planning a big trip or something like that. And I think part of the purpose of this conversation was to remind us that it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can just be those small moments that you have with your family, your friends, whatever you're defining that space, that intimate group for you, that can bring you such joy. And when we had the kids over, just on the 5th, when we had them over, so we had our son Sean and his wife, and they brought their retriever, that is a big dog.
Sure.
And we have a boxer, who's a pretty big dog. And then we have our little Havanese, which is not a big dog, but definitely thinks he is a very big dog.
Sure.
And then Brandon, our oldest son, was there. And then we had a family friend that was there that brought their retriever. So we had this huge house of dogs, like running everywhere, so happy to see each other, all of that kind of stuff. And Scott had smoked a tri-tip, and it was
So
beautiful.
yummy.
Oh my gosh, it was really amazing. So we keep the food out on the counter so everybody can just continue to nibble the whole rest of the evening. And so we're playing cards. And let me just give one little piece of advice. If you're a young mom and you are playing games with your kids and you have a competitive streak in you, I'm just going to say hypothetically, let's say I was a young mom at one time and I had a competitive streak in me at one time. And let's say that you're playing cards and you accidentally looked and saw a card and put it back down, and somebody saw you do that. And then every day from then on, for the rest of your life, every time you play cards, you are called a cheater. Every single day that you play for the rest of your life.
Yep.
I'm just going to tell you now, it's a high price to pay to win one card game. So let it go. So anyway,
They
we're
don't.
playing.
People don't let stuff go. They got to
They
let
don't.
that go.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
cheated once.
Yeah, it's fine.
Doesn't mean you're a cheater.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
The cord is in, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Done.
Done. I'm exonerated.
Yes.
Okay. Or I'm at least let out.
I let you out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we're playing. One of the dogs comes in, the bigger dogs, jumps up on the counter. Well, doesn't jump up on the counter, but you know what I mean. Just tall
Puts his-
enough to reach up there, grabs the tri-tip, gets most of it, eats most of it. There's a couple of pieces of meat that fall on the ground, so the other dogs are happy as well because they get some. I couldn't, never seen that we've never experienced that. Even the person who is the owner of this
Dog.
family member has said that's never happened before. That dog ate that so fast. It was like the dog was then looking at us like, I don't know what, nothing here. Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fun, though, because we'll be talking about that story now. It'll come up on Jackbox.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that story will come up
Yeah.
a gazillion,
The dog
in a
that ate
gazillion
the-
answers.
the tri-tip.
That ate the tri-tip.
Yeah. So we had a Framily, a friend of ours that my kids would say is an aunt and uncle. And they had a dog that was in our backyard for the day for whatever reason. And the night before I had made chocolate cupcakes for a birthday. Thursday night I'd made cupcakes so that Friday I could frost them for Abby's birthday party. And she was probably going to be like 4 or 5. And so I got home from work and the dog had got in my kitchen, had eaten all the chocolate cupcakes and there were chocolate paw prints all over my kitchen. And I kind of wanted to lose it because that was important to me then. But I made new cupcakes, same dog. We were in Lake Powell and it was my birthday weekend. And so this friend had bought steaks. We were going to barbecue out at the lake and all the steaks were in the cooler. This dog and another dog, there were 3 labs that were all friends. We had a lab, my brother-in-law had a lab, and our friend had a lab. And they were trouble. And these dogs lifted up the lid to the cooler, ate all the steaks. So, yeah, we've had a lot of that. I know I have a little dog that can't get on the counter, but
Yeah.
so we're good.
So you think.
Yeah, but when we're together, everyone has dogs. My daughter has 2. Our son has 1. My other daughter and her boyfriend, they have a big golden doodle. And so there's 4 dogs, 5 dogs when we get together,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is plenty.
Yeah. Yeah, that's plenty.
That's plenty.
Yeah. And that's the other thing I would say too, is that in those moments, especially when you're a younger mom or dad and things seem so important in the moment,
Right.
which they do, and they are. I'm not minimizing
They are at the
any.
time.
They
but-
are. We feel your feels, cry your tears, do whatever, raise
And
your
then-
voice, do whatever it is that you get to do in that moment to get yourself through it.
And then make more cupcakes.
Exactly, because later it's gonna be the punchline to a gazillion laughs that you're gonna have with yourself and
Right.
your spouse and your kids, and it's gonna bring you a ton of joy. So
Right.
don't fret about it too much.
Well, and now that the 3 labs were awesome and they were trouble together, but they were great dogs and we had them for a lot of years and they all died within about a year and a half of each other. And it was super sad, but
Yeah.
2 of them are buried close together. So that's kind of fun that we could still go to there's a rock, we can find them up on Kolob.
Yeah.
Mountain. But,
And
so-
that's one of the things Jill would probably say too, because even though she's not physically here with us, I know that one of the things that brings her great joy too,
is
since we're defining families any way we want to define them,
Yeah.
would be her fur family members that are very much a part of her family.
oh, for sure.
Yeah. And how much joy that they bring her, even though they require a lot of
Care.
attention and care. And
Yeah.
she does,
She does do it. She had 3 pretty geriatric.
Yeah, geriatric,
Chihuahuas.
Isn't she getting another one when she gets back?
I don't know. I think maybe she has one Chihuahua
I think she
left
is.
that has some medical problems and enlarged heart, and they make sure the puppy gets the medication and care.
They
and
cut the food just right.
Yes, they are very, very good dog owners. What else brings you joy?
Well, it's not going to be surprising that it all usually includes my kids, but doing things we haven't done before, I think, is always fun when you can include the people that you know are going to make you laugh somewhere along the line.
Right.
So we went to Fat Axe.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you have ever done that before, but it's axe throwing. And so we went and did that with
Your
my
kids.
boys that are here and my daughter-in-law, who is just delightful. All my daughter-in-laws are delightful. She just happens to be the one that lives here. But we went there. If you've never done anything like that, it is so much fun.
Is it cathartic?
It's so cathartic, and it's a pretty good workout. Yeah, we went for an hour. You can do it for like a half an hour, but we went for an hour. And, oh my gosh.
You're just throwing an axe.
So much fun. Yep, that's all there is to it. You
just throw an axe?
Go out there, throw an axe, you know.
It's got to be a little tricky, though.
Oh, yeah, it's tricky because if you're trying to get it to do the tumble, so it's got to be right at the right moment in order for it to hit the target
and stick in the wall.
And stick in the wall. Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, there's different scores and stuff like that. But then they also have different things you can throw, like you can throw a spear.
Oh, fun.
Supposedly at the target. That's the idea.
Oh, okay.
Not at the other people that
There's
you're
no
with.
drinking at it, though, right?
No.
Good. So there is drinking.
No,
you
there's
can?
not.
Yeah,
No.
I was going to say, I don't think we need a bar and axe throwing.
Right. There might be one of those somewhere. There's not one here in this community.
Yeah.
But there's also daggers you can throw and Chinese stars that you can throw. And I'm
my
really
goodness.
good at the dagger. Even the woman who works there is like, oh my gosh, nobody can ever get that one to, yeah.
And you did?
I'm really good at that one.
Oh, good.
Yeah, It was really fun. And the other thing I love, the other thing that really brings me joy to share with my husband is we bought some electric bikes in January. And I know it was an investment, but I'm telling you, I've got this little shoulder issue going on, so it's been a little bit tricky because I can't even hold the brake on this one side.
Right.
And I am not getting on the electric bike because they're pretty powerful. I'm not getting on there if I can't manipulate
Slow it
both
down.
brakes. Because if you only manipulate one, guess what? You're going to flip
forward,
right over.
yeah.
So, but that we did go for a little bike ride last week, our first one out for a while, and we didn't go very far because
it's
the
110
shoulder, but mostly because of the shoulder. But it was beautiful. We went in the morning.
Oh, nice.
And we just went for probably 4 or 5 miles, but it was so lovely. Yeah, it was lovely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that brings you joy. I think anytime I'm outside, I'm happy. Things that bring me joy in and things that my husband and I do together just at our house is I like to do yard work. And so we'll both run out there and do yard work together. And I have a misting system so we can come in and sit under the mist for a second and then go back out. But it's been pretty hot.
It's pretty hot here.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, that's something we like to do, but
not in July.
Not in July. But most of the things we like to do are camping and fishing and just really being with our kids and golfing. We like to golf too, but then it's another thing. Not so much in July. But there's a golf simulator in town. I don't know if you've...
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think you buy a membership and you get to go, you reserve it. I don't know if you're there for an hour or 2 hours. And you have like a keypad. So you get in, so nobody's there. If you're a member, you can get in and then you can punch in, Pebble Beach or whatever golf course you want to play
golf
and
that day.
you take your golf clubs and it's indoor and it's air conditioned and you can play the course like you would normally ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, people
And
they love it.
Patty's a good golfer.
I am not a good golfer.
Oh yeah, she is.
I like to golf when it's not super hot, but mostly because I just like to be outside and with my friends or family.
Yeah, but you're adorable in your little golf skirt.
Well, I do like
Adorable.
the golf outfit.
Yeah,
I think that's determines whether or not you're going to be good or not is if
Of
you
course.
have the right outfit.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, yeah, so I know that's something that my husband's been doing lately that has brought him joy is the golf simulator. I haven't been yet.
Well, when are you going to go with him?
I need to. I was invited, but I think I decided to take a nap instead last time because that also brings me joy.
Okay, so Riley, invite her again.
Yeah.
Invite her again.
I'll go.
Yeah. That's the other thing I would say is that I think sometimes it's easy to just say no to the things that we don't really know, right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Especially if it's hot or we're tired or we have things competing for our time. And one of the things, because I wasn't sure, I knew I wanted to do the axe throwing because it was Scott's birthday and it was something he hadn't done before. And I thought that would be fun, especially because we're going with our kids and they're so funny. So I knew that I wanted to do that. I didn't think I would actually throw anything because I also knew my arm was bad, but a dagger, you just need one. It's all in the wrist.
Yeah, and if it's your right arm, you're good.
Exactly. And I needed to make a point there that even though they could throw their big axes, I can,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
A
still
dagger's
can.
all you need. Yeah.
I'm the mom and I still got this. Yeah.
Absolutely. The thing I would just say is that every community has things, no matter how big or small. One of the things that we always hear about this community, which tends to be a little bit smaller, but not really. But if you ask a lot of the kids, they'll tell you there's nothing to do here. It's a small community, but there are a lot of things to do. And in fact, I just sent Patty and Jill a little notice that came about an event that's coming in November.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Where you put your teams together, and it is a murder mystery that you play on your phones that through the whole city.
Through the town, yeah.
There's clues throughout the whole city, and you put your team together, and then you register, and then you go through the clues through your phone, and it's timed. And I'm like, we should do this.
Yeah,
the three
for
of
sure.
us and our spouses.
For sure, we're going to do
we
that.
should do this. So we're going to do that together. You can find all kinds of things like that to do together. That even if you say I'm not going to do this again, right?
Yeah.
So who
what?
cares?
You're
going to have fun that time, and then you go eat. You have a couple drinks together.
Yeah.
Hey, come on!
That's
a great time spent together.
Right. Another thing we had some friends move here from New York several years ago, and they have taken us. I grew up here, and they have taken us to a few places for hikes that I hadn't even been around or known about.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of places to explore, and most people know that. I just hadn't been to Canaryville Falls until a while ago. And then there's Tokerville Falls that we went to. And we went to have a supai with one of our kids and her husband, but then a bunch of family and extended family about 2016, 5 years ago, last June, and hiked down. And just there's just a lot of great places and things to do. So nobody has to be bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. And here's the other thing. You can always just pick up a book
and
take with you.
Yeah.
Because then if it's not something you love and your partner does, that's great. You're still together and you can be reading your book and they can be doing the thing that they love, and it's all good.
I do that a lot. Riley could be watching something that I don't care about, but I just want to sit by him. So I read my book next to him and everyone's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what happens when you start to, I think, mature a little bit, because I remember when Scott and I were younger in our relationship, and he would love to fish, and I think it's because he just wanted me to love fishing as much as he did, but I didn't grow up with it like he did, and so putting your pole in the water, literally, I'm talking about literally now. Okay, so putting your pole in the water and then just
waiting.
Yeah, and watching that.
Yeah.
I no.
Can't do that.
Right.
So I do that with a book. Yeah.
Right. I would bring my book, and then Scott would be, how are you going to know if you have a fish if you're reading your book? And I'd be like, because you're watching my poll. You're watching both.
Or
these
you
polls,
can can still see it a little.
Yeah, you'll tell me. But now we've grown into the space where we can enjoy just the experience, and the experience doesn't have to look the same.
Right.
So thank you, honey, for that.
Well, and something that Riley loves to fish, and he loves fly fishing.
Yeah.
And that's actually a lot more active.
Engaging.
Engaging, yeah. And there's a lot of skill involved.
Yeah.
And so for Christmas a few years ago,
Yeah.
everyone got fishing.
This was an amazing gift.
Fly rods and waders and everything. And then the next Christmas, we gave the family a trip to Yellowstone, and I hadn't been. So we rented a house on a lake, took up our float tubes and some kayaks, and we could just walk right off of the deck down to the lake, and everyone was in waders. Everyone was learning to fly fish, and now everyone's pretty much set to fly fish, and I actually really enjoy it.
Yeah,
We've gone
that's
to
pretty active.
Lee's Ferry a couple times now. I've gone. He's probably wishing he hadn't taken me, because now if he's like, I want to go to Lee's Ferry, I'm like, okay, I'm coming. And he's like, I was just gonna go with the guys, but now I have to go. But yeah, the fly fishing is a little more active. You can't read a book and fly fish.
No, I did enjoy fly fishing, actually. I went once with Scott, I think.
Yeah.
Honey, how come we haven't gone back again after that one time?
Right. Yeah, you can fly fish here. I mean, even out at Sand Hollow, you can just fly fish in your swimsuit out there. But I don't do a lot of that, but Riley certainly does more. But I do enjoy it. So it brings me joy to actually, even if I don't catch a fish, but if I have a really good cast, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was a good cast, because of how difficult it is. Yeah. So you feel a little bit successful, but now all the kids are outfitted and ready to go. So
that's so awesome. Yeah.
Yep. But so we are at 43 minutes.
Yeah. So this is our gentle nudge.
Yeah.
So our gentle nudge is just to find something for you to choose into with your family, whatever that is, and choose into it this week. And then just be really mindful in that time and in that experience to take a moment and cherish the moment. That's my nudge for you. To just be mindful of this time and how blessed you are to be able to spend that with friends and family and the people that you cherish in your life. Because, gosh, you just don't know when and if, you'll have the opportunity to be in that. You'll never be in that same exact space again, ever. You'll never be able to repeat that same moment again. So you might as well just cherish it and make it the very best moment you can.
Absolutely. I second that.
Yeah.
Yep. So whatever your family definition is to you, family, friends, family, bloodline, not bloodline. Like I said, my kids have a lot of aunts and uncles out there that are actually not biological aunts and uncles, but they've called them aunts and uncles their whole life.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of great memories with all of those and all of our family and hope to make a lot more. So I encourage you to do the same.
Yeah. And we don't have our blue bowl because
Miss Jill's not here.
She's got our blue bowl. And obviously we can't just create another blue bowl because there's only just one blue bowl in the whole of the world.
Yeah. So
and we don't have it. So that's why we're totally going victim to that. So, so until next week, the Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek, grab it and get reading, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Thanks for listening to It's a Great Day to Talk. Be sure to follow and subscribe to us on your favorite podcast platform.
And until next week,
get out there and talk.
This has been a production from a podcast studio.